All right, so tomorrow a special event is being held to tackle a problem that unfortunately keeps growing in our city and metro area. Henry Ford Health is holding free asthma screenings at the main branch of Detroit Library. That's downtown. So joining me right now is Dr. Alan Baptist. He's the division head of Allergy and Clinical Immunology at Henry Ford Health. So doctor, thanks for joining us. Let me ask you this, why is Detroit such a challenging place to live with asthma?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, Detroit was recently found to be the third most challenging place in the entire United States to live with asthma. And there's a number of reasons that we think are responsible. We call them kind of the social determinants of health. So these are things like the environment. There's a lot of pollution in Detroit. Asthma is often triggered by allergens, and many of the houses in Detroit are quite old.
Yeah.
So they may have mold, they may have water damage, they may have a lot of dust. That can make things worse.
And I can only imagine that some people may be walking around and living with asthma and may not even know it. So talk to me about some of the signs and symptoms.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the most common signs and symptoms of asthma are shortness of breath, especially when you're trying to exercise, especially when you're being active. You might start coughing when you're active, start wheezing, and feel like your chest is tight. But it's often triggered by activity, by colds, things like that. When you get an infection, those are some of the symptoms.
All right, so you have a free screening event tomorrow at the public library. Yeah. What can people expect?
Yeah, so it'll be great. We have a number of asthma specialists that'll be there. At least 6 or 7 physicians are going to be there. There's going to be asthma nurse educators who are there to help. And this is for people who are wondering if they have asthma, or people who do have asthma but are wondering how to get better control of it. And during the screening, there'll be a number of things. People will get to do a breathing test. They will fill out a questionnaire that talks about different asthma symptoms. And after that, they'll sit down and talk with one of the asthma specialists, and it's all free.
And we often know that a lot of times these screenings are a primary indicator for some residents that there may be an issue that needs to be looked out. So it's simple and easy?
Yeah, very easy, very simple, very painless.
You'll be using a device called a spirometer?
That's right.
All right, so show us how it works.
Absolutely. So all this is going to do is this is just something that you kind of blow into, and I'm going to let you do it. Okay, so I'm going to have you take this in your hand. I want you to take a deep breath in, put it in your mouth, and then blast it out as hard as you can. Keep blowing, keep blowing, keep blowing, and good. Perfect. And that's it. And that's all you'll be doing. That would be the breathing test portion of it. And then you'd fill out the questionnaire, learn some things about kind of what your symptoms are when they're triggered, and then you'll get to talk to some of the health professionals there.
And they give you instant indicators as to what could potentially be happening in your body.
That's right. And not only that, while we're at the health fair, we also have a lot of things to give away to people who do have asthma, things that can help manage their asthma, and I have a couple of them here.
All right. So look, who needs to be there again tomorrow?
Everyone who is worried they have asthma, anyone who has asthma and feels it's not fully controlled.
All right, so here's a reminder that event is set for tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the main branch of the Detroit Library downtown. That's at Woodward and Kirby. And a reminder, this event is totally free, you all. All right. Kimberly, Homie, let me send things back to you.
Hey, Devon, thank you.